there's brands that are still not on TikTok. If you're B2C and you're not on TikTok, I would say you need to reconsider.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode. I have Íñigo today, co-founder and managing director of House of Marketeers. Íñigo, welcome.
Thank you, Aidan. Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you for joining. Influencer marketing, TikTok. Plenty of things to discuss today. But before we get started, Íñigo, if you can choose 3 words that are most important to you and why.
Well, 3 words that are most important to me could be resilience, growth, and excellence. Let's start with the first one. Resilience, let's say, means everything to me because both my personal life and my business journey, have been full of moments where quitting would have been an easier option, and I have to deal with setbacks, uncertainty, pressure, and situations where the outcome wasn't guaranteed. So what resilience has taught me is that progress doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from really learning how to stand back up after each one of them, and every obstacle forced me to adapt, think differently, and grow thicker skin. Right? They said there's no great man with a life without obstacles, right? And I attribute a lot of our company's success to this. It's a huge attribute I also see in a lot of the team also here at House of Marketers. And growth, because it matters deeply to me because I believe stagnation is one of the biggest silent failures, both in life and business. I'm constantly trying to improve how I think, how I operate, and how I show up every day. Growth isn't always comfortable, and in fact, most of the time it comes from mistakes, losses, and tough feedback. But every phase of growth has shaped my perspective and sharpened my skills and made me a better person, I believe. And the last one will be excellence because it's also quite important to me. I'm quite a perfectionist, and in business, I really, really want to focus on delivering high quality results and that drive meaningful outcome for clients, and while celebrating also individual and team achievement, right? So I take real pride in delivering things to a higher standard, and that's why I would say excellence.
Nice. Really, thank you for sharing that. Always great to hear, personal stories and beliefs of people. And we appreciate the honesty and sharing this with us. So Íñigo, you were one of the first employees at TikTok in EMEA, right? So what did you see early on that made you believe this platform would just change everything?
So I started back in 2017 in the UK, in a small basement in Holborn in London, when it was still called Musically. ByteDance had just acquired Musically, and 6 months after that came the rebranding to TikTok. And in the beginning, it was all about selling TikTok to, my role was about selling TikTok to media partners, to publishers, to creators and influencers, that there was going to be a huge opportunity in this platform, and they needed to jump in the one wagon as early as possible. But it was really difficult back in the day because it was nobody really believed in the platform, and I didn't start out thinking I was going to build an agency. I was working closely with these brands, trying to onboard them into TikTok, and I was just seeing the same problem, right? Like they were starting to throw money at influencers there, and without real strategy or understanding whether it was actually driving growth, and everyone was chasing vanity metrics instead of real impact. And I was sitting in meetings with them. It's like there has to be more smarter way of doing this, and that frustration then drive curiosity, and then kind of like, okay, we can actually build some systems, test some campaigns, and eventually we realized I realized I could turn this into a real company. and it could be because TikTok couldn't do what from the TikTok side. I couldn't help brands as much as I could do from an agency side. And that pushed the idea of that of setting up this TikTok influencer marketing agency, to actually achieve measurable and authentic results, right? I think that I was that's where I became very passionate about growing brands. I partner, to start the agency. I partner with my co-founder Rohan, who used to run an influencer marketing agency. So with his knowledge on the agency side and my knowledge of TikTok, that's kind of how the idea came to place, and since then we've worked with some of the biggest brands such as McAfee, Match.com, HelloFresh, among others. So that's a little bit how the idea started. Yeah.
Interesting. What makes TikTok so different, so unique?
I would say like the authenticity of the content in the platform. Like from the very beginning, when I was at TikTok, that's what we were selling, as well. Authenticity is what actually drive impact, and you could see the difference between the creators that started on TikTok and the ones that came from Instagram. Where like Instagram was all about kind of like the aesthetics and like looking maybe so in a reality there was not what no, it was not so in the reality of the of what people are, or the creators or influencers, right? Where on TikTok, it was just video, there was no images, like everything was pretty much real. There was AI was not there yet, so there was not much to fake, and people really had to show themselves how they really were, and so I would say authenticity, and also the part about the culture of TikTok in a way of then I think that the community was really really different compared to Instagram, or like the way to create content and interact with each other in terms of like creators and users was really something different.
Yes. Yes. Obviously, I think it came at the right timing with Gen Z, right? Probably just started to use the platform and they can figure out like overly produced content for a while, right? I mean, it's a matter of, as you said, authenticity, less highly produced and polished kind of videos, which are probably not authentic and some we consider like fake and not real. And yeah, I mean, it's all about relationship, and TikTok just close the gap, right, between businesses and potential shoppers, right, and buyers, and in a very, very nice way. What are the different activities that merchants and brands can do in TikTok today?
Well, I mean, I think what happened on TikTok, first of all, is been trying to grow the user base, right, to create that really stable community and a stable user base, right, and then now is when we're seeing that is moving towards the social commerce side of things, right? Is but like I would say, like 5 years ago, everyone is like get into TikTok, and now 5 years later is get into social commerce. While it's early,
Yeah,
because you can see, TikTok Shop has really came to stay. You only need a couple of clicks of your button of on your phone to make a purchase on the
yes,
platform, and this is this is bringing convenience. It started, TikTok Shop has started on the some country, some Asian to be launched a while ago in Asian countries, and also like Douyin, like and other platforms in China. They were of course already you know pretty much involved in social commerce, but something like is coming now to the West, and it's starting to grow, where really businesses can actually track the impact that the campaigns are having on the platform through influencer marketing and ads in a very transparent way. Even having fulfillment by TikTok, where like everything you know puts a lot of it makes it quite easy for any kind of brand or even a small seller to actually start their business, or their online business, and sell and and find visibility through creators and content, and content that really has an impact
Yeah.
on the user. So yeah, what's happening on TikTok now is a lot of influencer marketing and creator content, UGC. That's where I think a lot of the brands are focusing on, and how we are helping most of our clients. And then how we are connecting these to TikTok Shop is the next step, and how where things are are landing now, where they're going.
So brands will engage with you to create a variety of influencer-led content, right? So
Correct.
and again, influencer, it's not a matter of like followers, because there's not a lot of meaning for this in TikTok because of the way the algorithm works. It's all about the creativity, using the right hook. It's the video itself that needs to be interesting and convert in various ways for the algorithm to keep promoting it, right? So I think
Yeah.
a different type of approach, right?
Yes, correct. So the way the algorithm works is not really taking into account your followers. What is taking into account is for the person on the other side, for how long are they actually watching the video, how long are they staying on the video, how much are they engaging, and based on that, the algorithm is going to be showing different content to in your feed, right? And so that means, like, if you just start and on TikTok as a creator, and start to put or even as a brand, and start to put really interesting content, and authentic, that it's actually driving people's interest and eyes, then you can actually drive a lot of visibility without even necessarily have followers, right?
Sure.
Then there is more ways, there's ways, of course, then to connect visibility on the videos and engagement on the videos with growing followers and community. But that doesn't mean that the you know social sellers, or like social seller creators that are selling on TikTok Shop, not necessarily have huge followers. It's just that each one of their videos are having a lot of engagement and visibility, right? And that's what matters, because that's what's going to drive clicks on people
Hmm.
to the cart.
Yeah. And obviously, TikTok Shop is like a completely, as you said, completely different ecosystem, right? Based primarily on the affiliate marketplace, where those creators or influencers are becoming the actual sellers and gaining a commission out of it, right? Out of real business or GMV that has been generated.
Yes, correct. So a lot of creators now have actually a really big opportunity to um really, they have a big opportunity now to monetize their content, which was something that will be more you know will be very complicated in the past, because I said TikTok was still like trying to build that community, to then um have more people from all ages, and being able to then you know have enough community for this TikTok Shop or social selling to work. And yeah, it's giving a lot of opportunities to creators to monetize the content that they create. And and yeah, it's becoming like, being a creator is becoming a very, I would say, a profession, for many, especially like not only young generations, but even moms, or like that. So, like, people that want to want to build build a business, or build something on social, on digital, that also allows for a lot of flexibility when it comes to generating revenue for them or the families, or it's so it's, of course, a very, very interesting, um yeah, it's a very interesting times that we're getting into here.
Yeah. So initially, like a few years ago, the influencer marketing or creator economy was about brand awareness, increasing visibility, right? But these days, obviously, because of everything that's happening on TikTok Shop, it has become like a search platform, but also a discovery platform, right? Just to figure out and discover new products. This has a lot of meaning, I think, and love your insights here towards how brands are looking at SEO, and specifically social SEO, TikTok kind of SEO. I know you're a great advocate of this topic. So how should brands rethink discovery now, and when people are searching on TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I mean, first of all, in the past it used to be, influencer marketing, of course, was also to drive growth and to drive sales, not only brand awareness, but it was much more difficult to track those results that those from the budgets that you were putting towards budgets that you were putting towards influencer marketing and UGC, right? But yeah, this is just something that now is much, TikTok Shop is making it much easier to track. Um, and yeah, in terms of what you were saying regarding how brands and are now using TikTok as a, as you said, like more TikTok is being used as a search engine, right? You need to really be very much uh you know thoughtful or thinking about how what type of keywords you're going to be including in your content, and making sure that you're mentioning a specific specific words in each one of those videos if you really want to build a community around a topic, right? um then your people are going to be, they are looking for, I don't know, some kind of you know traveling to specific place. The more that you put content where you're mentioning it, you're using subtitles, you're using the right keywords.
Hmm.
There's it's like, TikTok has the same kind of like also words ranking as well for each topic, right? And if you are able to kind of match that in your content, then you're going to be positioned very high when people are searching for those specific keywords, right? And that's gonna help a lot.
Yes, of course. Inigo, tell us about House of Marketeers. What you guys are doing in the company.
So House of Marketers, we're a TikTok first, agency. We focus mostly, influencer marketing and UGC, and now of course a lot more on combining this with TikTok Shop, to drive growth. We're completely global agency and completely remote. We're doing campaigns from in the US, but also Europe, Middle East. I mean, you name it. And yeah, what we've done is, we really focus on the creative, and as you said, really each video when we're working with influencers, it's you cannot just leave them completely, if you want to achieve results, you cannot just give them like complete creative freedom, right? It has to be, it's a really a lot of work between agency and influencers to really build something impactful that at the same time feels authentic and can bring the results that you expect from those campaigns, right? But yeah, our objective as an agency is become one of the most successful TikTok agencies out there, and
Sure.
growing with the platform and with everything that is bringing users and brands and the opportunities there.
Yeah. Is it typical for a brand to grow, let's say, beyond their domestic market to international through TikTok Shop, for example, and other TikTok campaigns? Usually, you will engage with a brand to serve the local market, or some of your brands are also serving multiple markets, and they can grow to these markets with TikTok.
Yeah, it's definitely very common. We have, for example, a lot of clients from Seoul, from Korea, that are expanding, in the US because they are selling Korean beauty products, and now it's became a huge trend and
Sure.
huge, uh, yeah, kind of thing now. These products, and yeah, all these brands are jumping directly into TikTok Shop, right? And really creating, they're really focusing on a lot of like these affiliate campaigns, trying to get as many videos out there in terms of like mass UGC to have a high impact, in this market, just to keep building the revenue and their growth, right? So yeah, definitely, I would say for us, most of our clients actually are clients that are from a different market that wants to target another market. So it's that's normally because otherwise they probably will have already some local agency that maybe works with them. But when it comes to actually, it's very important for a brand to have a partner that can help them grow in several markets at the same time, and that once they understand the product and how to work with them, it makes it so easy to work with an agency like Hustle Marketers. Like, not only can help you grow in the US, but also in UK or Europe, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our ideal client is.
Interesting. So usually, so you can also work with the brand and manage multiple markets, right? TikTok Shop in various areas or influencer campaign,
Yeah.
sponsored content. Nice. Nice. Very, very nice. And these are like localized. You need to work with influencers. Yeah, you can share the same content in multiple markets. I usually work with influencers from the specific regions you want to target, or maybe a combination of those.
The most important thing, is like, of course, you need to understand, as an agency, we understand what's the key messages that the brand wants to develop, but then, how do you adapt to it to a different market, to different markets? It has to do a lot about what trends are happening in that specific market, what are the conversations happening, what are the keywords, what are the, where people are searching for on those specific markets, and adapt your strategy in terms, your content strategy based on that. People are not talking the same things about K-beauty in Spain that they are talking in France, for example, and the way they are talking about it, right? So
Yes.
just to give you an example, and then, so it's important for us, we have people from more like, 15 different nationalities, that, have local knowledge, and that's how, we kind of some way are global, we're global but local at the same time.
Yes.
It's how we work with our clients.
Yes. And what do you usually hear from brands about TikTok? What's the main concerns or maybe objections?
Mm, Well, I would say that there is this topic was something like these concerns used to be much, yeah, there were more this was more a problem in the past, I would say. I think like um the uh not mission, but the embracing TikTok, has already, become very, very, very popular, and there is enough data out there uh that everyone can see to prove that you need TikTok to be part of your social media and digital strategy, right?
Hmm.
I guess, depending on what depending on what age groups and specific niches you're targeting. I mean, there might be some. There's, of course, because we not only work with TikTok, we also do influencer marketing, other platforms like Instagram and YouTube, and there's some type of products that there might be more suitable, because of the, from our experience and from what's brought results in the past. You can still see, okay, doing a YouTube campaign or like YouTube integrations with the script, link in the description. This is going to, drive more results that maybe doing a campaign on TikTok, right? It really depends. You always have to analyze, your product, your target audience, the market, see what's the conversation that's happening, and it's actually, if TikTok is, actually the right platform, right? It's not always, not doesn't it doesn't always TikTok is not 100% fit for all, but I will say like any B2C brand that wants to grow in some way, even if it's maybe not in from the beginning getting results in terms of, you know sales, but at least, start to build that awareness. So, there's once you're building, that community, you're able to actually, you know monetize it, right? So
Great.
it's really important to jump into the, I would say, is if there's brands that are still not on TikTok, I mean, it's yeah, if you're B2C and you're not on TikTok, I would say you need to reconsider.
Yes, I mean the riskiest thing you can do is just wait, right? Because it's going to get much more difficult, right, down the line. Do you see any specific like niches or categories that obviously you mentioned beauty, clear, any other categories that you feel are valuable?
Yeah, I would say, also health and, health and supplements is also it's also growing a lot, and, still, any I would say anything e-commerce, that has would say a lot of that normally is driven, purchases are driven by impulses or impulsive purchase. I would say that's, the type of products that, are going to work very well on TikTok. If you find ways, to hook, and clear, create a clear problem solving message around your product, that actually solves an immediate problem, an issue that um then you are going and you're going to be able to get very good results. I would say I will say that that's the most important thing. There has to be a there has to be a problem that your product is solving very clearly, and that you are able to communicate it through 15 to 30 seconds content.
Amazing, amazing. So you grew quite fast, right? Over 300 partnerships, already 8 figures agency. What were the major like challenges in terms of growing the agency for you guys?
The major okay major I would say, like, the major obstacles, or well, like, I would say, um will be early mistakes, or like things that I learned from, is the part about trying to grow very fast, scale too fast without having enough processes in place. Think there is, of course, at the same time that you're talking to brands, you also need to make sure that you have, the capacity, and then the capacity to actually cover all those projects. And then once you're starting to talk with other brands, they're like, oh yeah, you think you can do it, but the most important, and you can deliver. But then without having those processes in place, a lot of things can break very quickly, and that's going to cause a lot of issues. No, so I think one of the things that we've always done is, and that I think will help a lot of business owners if they start to do it from the very beginning, is is forecast, right? Like, I would suggest everyone to really, you know, do forecast, or, of your sales, your partnerships, the capacity that you're going to need, how many campaigns, your team can handle, and how many campaigns are you expecting. Like, all of this is like really, really important in order, for you to not to end up in trouble in the future. And I think a lot of business owners actually ignore this forecast side of things, and they just kind of like go with the flow.
Yeah.
um, but then I think, once you get used to it, you will see it does, you will see that it's not, you know, it doesn't seem like it's actually what is helping you. But then you realize, yeah, this was actually, what is the only way that you're going to scale is by forecasting
Got it. Forecasting and try to figure out how to build, the
process.
onboarding processes, SOPs, right? Delivery processes to make sure that you serve customers in a very good way. And obviously, in this kind of business, people and talents are so important. How do you find people? How do you onboard them? Well, I mean, what's your process for retention?
Well, the good thing is that we have access to a global workforce, because we're completely global and completely remote. So we really try to find those people that are going to go the extra mile, and that they fit with the culture at House of Marketers. Which is a really high performing culture, right? I would say, like, anyone at House of Marketers. I mean, like, I could say, like, a campaign manager at House of Marketers could do maybe the job of, like, in terms of, like, covering the ground of, like, other two or three people in any other given agency, given like how we've built processes and tools, and put everything to make things easier for them. But then also needs to have like that, they need to have that high performing attitude, in terms of, like, how to how to approach their day to day. And yeah, there is, influencer marketing moves very fast.
Yeah.
So it's, I would say, even when it looks like it's not rocket science from the outside, it's actually very complicated.
It's very human intensive and relationship building. It's community building. It's a lot of those things, right? Nothing works.
So this, yeah, they, that's why for us, it's really important to find the right people. But again, the good thing is, we also have this very international culture of a lot of people from different countries, and with, they love, they are really passionate about what they do. I think, um I think that, TikTok is also, or like social media, is a very fun industry to work with, not only very young people, but also like some other generations are also enjoying it a lot. And like, it becomes, I would say, we are lucky that it's an industry where you find a lot of passionate people compared to maybe other industries. like could be maybe finance or insurance or like
First,
I would say, yeah, that's a really good point.
great. So, Inigo, how people can find you and House of Marketeers?
Yeah, they can find us in houseofmarketers.com. They can of course also find me, Íñigo Rivero Angulo on LinkedIn and get in touch. Also the yeah, we will be very happy to you know uh do a free consultation to anyone, any brand that is trying to really make an impact, in social and TikTok, and see how we can help them there.
Amazing, amazing. Great. It was a pleasure to host you here. Thank you so much for all the great insights. You're definitely one of the most, I think, definitely exciting, sales channels out there, right, for any brand. Anything else you want to add?
No, no, nothing else. It was a really pleasure. Yeah, amazing pleasure, Ethan. Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.